Hello and welcome back to another character creation video. My name is Lumen and today we're back in Dragon's Dogma II, this time around for masculine human. Specifically, we're going to look at the human male character creation and customization, all the presets available, the body types, the base heads, the detailed customization options, every little detail that's available, and then at the end of the video I'll also include some custom creations that I made for the thumbnail or just for fun or for future use or whatever. If you'd like to do a deep dive to discover all there is to discover about Dragon's Dogma 2, you can find some links below, and as always there will be timestamps. Use them, find what you're looking for, and leave satisfied. Now to start things off, we're going to jump in and have a look at the presets. I'm not a huge fan of the presets, not so much just in this game, just in general. Presets, basic presets, often don't give you a great look at what's available, and sometimes if you pick something here, you could, specifically in this creator, go through one or two extra steps and get something that would suit you way better. These, however, they're okay. There's one over here for human male that you can have a look at, and then a little further on we've got a few more. I mean, they sort of, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about the preset. They're okay. They're here. They're here, they exist, and you can pick them if you want to. I personally don't really love them, but they're there, okay? I much prefer going for create new. Then you pick your body type as human male, and then, you know, you can jump in here, you can see the body serving suggestions. Again, not a huge fan of the way they've presented these. They do have pretty much everything here, where they have the sort of skinny ones, they have more middle of the road ones, they got slightly larger ones, and then they got the biggest, buffest one. But my issue with it is that it's not the biggest and buffest. You can make your character bigger and buffer. And it's the same for the smaller one. You can make your character smaller, slighter of frame. It's the same for the sort of heavier one. You can make the character heavier. So they're not really giving you the extremes, which I suppose makes sense. But at the same time, again, it's way better if you jump in and just do it yourself, which is generally the case, right? Now, with this out of the way, we can jump into the best part of this video. What I like to call the preset creator. My favorite part of any of these videos. The way this works is it presents itself as a basic preset picker. You have 5 pages of presets. There are a good number of them. They are varied, they are different, and they are most definitely interesting. And this game actually takes it a step further. So how it works is you get to pick one of these presets, then it gives you a selection based on that one preset. So it gives you different variations of that one preset. Maybe different lives it could have led, maybe different versions of this character in the multiverse. I don't know. But I love the way they've set it up. It is by far, hands down, my favorite thing. So you've got this guy here, and then you've got all the different versions of him that could have existed throughout the years or, you know, throughout the timelines. Again, it depends on how you look at it. And I think it's just awesome because you can do that. And then say, for instance, you like this dude here with the scar over his eye, you can pick him and you can go another step further, and then you can customize the structure of the face, the bone structure, a little bit more. And it just gives you so much customization in just a couple of clicks. And it really works. I love it. I love it. So for this part of the video, we're going to go through all of these. Now, what I will be doing is I'll start over here, and I'll be talking about this stuff because I've got a lot to say about this stuff. But I'll start on this Sam Winchester looking fellow, and I'll just show you what these look like briefly, right? I'm not going to click and then go through to the face structures. You can just pretend you know what they look like. Use your imagination a little bit, because it doesn't really change the preset that they give you all that much. It just changes the facial structure so you can sort of fine tune a little bit. So keep that in mind. We're going to look at the variations of each preset, and then we'll move on and we'll do the detailed customization. So right at the start here, you can see that there will be a pattern that emerges. You've generally got the scarred guy top right. You've generally got the elvish looking fellow bottom left. And then there are a few others that sort of present themselves pretty regularly. And you will probably also find a few more patterns that emerge after a few minutes of looking at these. But I personally can't get enough of the way the system works, because I just feel it offers you a huge amount of flexibility with minimal effort and input. And it's the kind of thing I think that a whole lot of different games could benefit from. And I don't think it's specifically games just like this, but if I look back at the games that I've played and where I've made characters and stuff like that, there are so many situations, especially in, and I hate to point fingers here, but the From Software games, where I think to myself, my God, I really could have used a better selection of presets or a better way of sort of curating the experience, because oftentimes in those games you end up with, my God, you know, everything out of whack, everything out of proportion, hideous amalgamations that shouldn't see the light of day, and you don't know how you got there. And there's no real easy way to jump in and make a character that suits you, looks good, feels like what you're looking for, and all the rest. I often see people complaining on the Reddits, why is it so hard to make a nice looking character? Well, look at this. Look at these guys. There are so many different versions of this one guy, and they all look fantastic. They all look great. Those games would benefit hugely from something like this. I'm just saying, it would be good. I think it would fit so well in that style of game, because they also have like fantastic systems, you know? The character creation in those other games, it's great. It's just not that easy, you know? It's just not that simple to sort of jump in and make something that suits you, that works for you. Different versions of Samwise Gamgee here. I dig it. I really dig it. I also really, I mean, when you go through here, I really like the fact that it gives you a like detailed and varied look at all the different skin types, the different hairstyles. Specifically on the male version of the customization here, it gives you a good look at the different beards and stuff like that. You can get a solid idea of what's available. You can get a solid idea of what you can pull off. I think I might be looking at the same one again. I don't know. And you can also, if you just jump in here and have a peek at some of them that you might like, you can get a good idea of the potential available. Because if you decide, yeah, I want to make a darker skinned character, I want to make a black dude, then you can come in here, you can look at some examples, and you can take those with you into your own detailed customization. And the same goes for anything, man. Like, the same goes for anything. You might be surprised that it's not so easy always to make something like, let's say, an older character. Then you have these professional artists and modelers and game developers that have set up this system where you can just jump in and you can have a look at a bunch of older characters with features that suit them, with styles that work on them, and with everything else just sort of right there in place where it needs to be. Again, it just shows why this system would shine and why this system is so helpful. I love it. I love it, and I cannot stop going through these characters. Like, every time I come in here and I want to make something for myself, I first come and look, and I check if there's anything that could potentially, this looks like the guy from John Wick, could potentially sort of be something that could run in parallel to it. And yeah, more often than not, I can get something, man. I can get a good starting point where I'm like, yeah, that's the facial structure I want, or yeah, the overall style here looks like it fits. And I dig it. And some of them have such great variation as well. Like, they have some characters here that just look almost like completely different characters, but when you actually look at it and you like compare the faces, you can see it's the same character. And man, don't get me started on these older characters. I think this is like probably some of the best wrinkles I've seen in a video game. It's so absurd saying that. It's kind of ridiculous saying that. But like when you go from like the middle age to the older characters here, it's like, wow, man, it's so well done. Like they've just done everything. This is actually one of my favorite ones here, just because of the wide variety that you get from this one guy's face, from this dude's face. It's crazy. Really cool. But yeah, overall, man. This guy just looks so cool, man. Oh, what a sick looking character. And it's just like that. You pick this guy and you jump in and boom, you're gaming. And you're not just regular gaming, you're cool gaming, dude. Yeah. It's pretty sick. It's funny how much of a difference having just facial hair makes, because, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it just looks better with a beard, because a lot of these characters, no. A lot of these characters look just fine without beards. But what I'm saying is that just having that beard there, and I mean, sure, female characters, the feminine ones, have stuff that make up for it, but just having that beard there, it adds a whole lot of extra depth that you could pop onto the character. And I mean, it's especially useful and nice and fun when the beards look great. I mean, that's just a nice, happy little accident. I think this game might have some of the best darker skin tones, and I'm not even talking about the character itself or the facial structure. I just mean the way the skin looks. I don't know what they've done with it, but it's the engine and the lighting and everything else. It's just some of the best that I've seen, and the older skins. God, don't get me started on this. And a lot of these older skins, I want to point out as we go into the old page here, a lot of them are not even set to the oldest setting. They're not set to like the most extreme that they could be on. A lot of them, they sort of, well, they took a measured approach. And if you actually jump in, you select one of these, and you try things out for yourself, you'll see that you can even go further with it. In a good way, by the way. I mean, I want to say it's in a good way. It's especially cool when you are the kind of player that wants to jump in and not so much just role play, but like fully immerse yourself in the experience. You want to make yourself into a character, and you want to be different. You want to be a character, you know? You don't want to just be nameless hero number 534, because a lot of people just make these like sort of standard generic cliche looking heroes. Yeah, you don't have to be that guy with this game. There's just a lot to choose from. This might be the best looking face. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if you guys would agree, but I don't know, like this guy, for instance, this guy, this face just has so much detail on it. This face just has so much emotion. This guy has played way too many Souls-likes. This is us in like 10 years time, guys. Oh, it's crazy. That's actually the end of it. I love it. I love it. We are going to jump in on this fellow. The reason I'm picking this guy is because his hair is out of his face. The hair is up. I actually think I picked, funny enough, I picked the exact same hairstyle when I was customizing the females. And I did that because, again, you can sort of see all the features. You can see the face, you can see the ears, you can see everything that you want to change. And it makes it easier customizing. And that said, yes, we're going to jump into the detailed customization now, starting with the body. Now I'm going to show you exactly why I feel like that body picker, the preset picker for the bodies, is just not all that. I have been told since I uploaded my first couple of videos that the body weight will actually matter when you play in the game, which is kind of interesting to me. And it also adds that extra level of thought and care into the creation process. But let's jump in and have a look. You can change your height to... to the extreme. You can basically double your body weight. So you can go here from 160, the height, all the way up to 215, and your weight goes from 54 all the way up to, let's see, 103. It's madness. It is so much. Then you can do your torso length. This doesn't add anything. This just moves around the sort of center of your character's being. It's another one of those sliders that could potentially be cursed. Watch out with it. Then, something that I feel less about, all in all, the muscle style. I've spoken about this a little bit. I'm going to go through here very quickly and show you what it looks like. This is sort of like a shading set, like a template that you put over your character's body to accentuate, highlight some of the muscularity. In my opinion, it's not great. It has some presets here, some of these types that are all right, and they work. But I just don't think that it does enough in its current form. Or I think that they've got too much in here. They should have like 5 different types. They should have one that's sort of plain, one that's super smooth, one that's super ripped, one that's sort of halfway there, and then maybe 1 or 2 older ones with different versions of it. You know, and that's one of the things that I could see this doing, is the older skin types, where you want to pick something with more wrinkles, with more... flabbiness overall, you know, loose skin here and there, stuff like that. It just doesn't do much, is what I'm saying, right? So you can use it, you cannot, it's whatever, but it doesn't do all that much overall. Here's the trap size. Can zoom in a little bit for this. Not super impactful. The bigger stuff starts coming now. Here's the muscle mass. These ones are actually kind of cool. And, you know, I'm here, and I just pulled the muscle mass up to the max, and already this character is buffer than the one that we saw on the presets. So, like, it's just bigger and buffer. Then you can do your lower body muscle mass. Kind of nice. It makes it look a little bit more balanced if you do that. And, yeah, if you combine this with, like, the slightly fitter looking skin preset here, like let's say the ab one, it looks kind of nice, you know, it does. And it's already, as I said, more muscular. Then you can set the size, not the muscle mass, the size. And what's kind of nice is that you can set the size and have the muscles on at the same time, if you'd like. And you will notice that when you have the muscles on and you go small, it doesn't go that small. It makes you leaner, which is cool, but it doesn't really make it smaller. But if you take the muscle mass off, then you can see that you go pretty skinny, and it does make a difference. But the movement is less, that's for sure. And it's the same for the legs. Definitely less movement. Keep in mind, however, that as we jump in here, as we go a little further in, you will see that we get to customize the top and the bottom separately, and you can do sort of more with it. I'll show you some of the extremes in just a moment, but that's the all-round body stuff. Now it's the head. With the head, it's again one of those situations where I'm going to say, like, be careful a little bit, because you can easily have your head too small on the body or too big on the body. And you want to stay close to the middle with these ones. So you can set the overall size, then you can do the length, like this. Then you can do the height, the width, sorry. And then you can do the depth, which is sort of this, forward and backwards. You can do the height. There's the height. Face height's kind of a weird setting. Unnerves me a little bit. Neck length and neck thickness. Pretty cool. Lots of stuff here. Yes, you can deform your character horribly if you'd like to. It is a possibility. It is something that has been done. So upper body, this is when we start doing the specifics. Here's the shoulder width. It's the shoulder size. It's the muscles on the shoulder. Chest thickness. Pretty cool. It's nice that they give you that option. Chest size. That's your boobies. There it is. Torso width. You'd want to combine these with one another. In other words, like the torso width with the shoulder width. You'd want to combine them to sort of try and make something cool. And the depth as well. You know, either one might look weird without the other. Here's the depth. Arm length. Because why not? Arm size. You combine this with the muscles and the size in the overall body stuff, and then you can make yourself bigger or smaller. There's the specific upper arm and forearm. And if you combine these once again, you can make your character pretty buff. And I'll show you when I'm done here quickly. I'll show you the two extremes. Here's the lower body, waist width, waist size, that's forward and backwards. Rear size, yep, the posterior dimensions. Leg size overall. And thigh size. And calf size. There we go. Before we move on to the posture, I'm going to show you what this looks like if we just throw the muscle mass on. And we leave the size, like we'll push it a bit up like that, but not all the way. I mean, okay, let's leave it over here just to quickly show it off. We'll put the muscle strength on max. And then we're going to jump into upper body, and I'll show you what I meant by... So if you throw the shoulder size out a little bit, you throw the thickness out a little bit, you throw the size out a bit more, torso width a bit more, torso depth a bit more, make the arms a bit longer, arm size bigger, and then let's do the legs so it doesn't look too unnatural. Waist width we can leave sort of thin, waist size the same, the rear size has to be max, then the leg size overall. So you can see, you can immediately make your character like way more muscular, even though I do believe it ends up looking, especially if you have the shorter character, it looks a little unnatural. It looks way better on a big character like this. You're going to have to fine tune a little bit. Like, you can basically come in here and you can think to yourself, yeah, the mass, let's say the overall weight on the upper body would look better lower, and the weight on the lower body would look better lower. Maybe you could come into the upper body and you could think to yourself, yeah, maybe the chest thickness a bit down, the size a little bit down, and like, you know, you want to, that looks a little unnatural, but you want a leaner look. You can move that around as well. And then on the other extreme, you can just put everything on the lowest, and you can see how that sort of affects your character. I'll show you now. We leave the head stuff, but you can move it all to the lowest, and you can have some pretty extreme transformation happen here. you can have a character that'll blow away in anything stronger than a light breeze. So yeah, overall it's a pretty good system. There's enough that you can do with it, and I think that most people will find what they're looking for. And then our final option in body stuff here, the posture. So your first one is the movement slider. This basically changes how your character walks. It changes your posture a little bit. It makes the character lean forward a tiny bit. But it's basically your walk style. It's kind of tough, this one, to quantify. But I think it makes your steps longer and shorter, one way and the other. Then you got the elbow angle here. You can basically do the macho walk or not. Then there's the knee angle, in and out. Also not super impactful. And then if you want impactful, you got posture. You can hunch over like this, or you can lean back like that, which is pretty cool. And that's it. There you go. This is kind of important, those options on posture there, because they do basically change where your character is looking. In other words, if you zoom in on your character's face and you lean the character's posture back, then he's going to sort of be looking up a little bit. Now he's looking center and down a bit. So you can sort of move where that goes. But that's it for the body stuff. We're going to move on to the custom stuff on the head now. The detailed customization that's available. Now, when you jump in here, you actually have a huge selection of heads. So this is the structural choice that you're going to make. You can see that immediately. So each of these would have been linked to one of the heads in the preset picker. Here's this is actually, funny enough, like a combo of Elijah Wood and Gollum together, which is just really weird. Anyway, each of these would be linked to one of those presets, and each of these might look better or worse based on the skin tone that you pick. It's something that you're going to have to fiddle around with, but it is an important choice because it does change a lot of what you're working with, right? And it gives you that sort of starting point that could be really important for you. If you want a heavier character, you pick a heavier face. If you want a more chiseled, more defined look, you can go for that. If you're looking for a softer, I don't know, maybe more gentle look, you can find that here too. You pick the one you want, but I think it's easier just picking the preset that you want and starting on that. And then in a similar fashion, you have the base skin choice. Now, this is your overall skin tone that you pick in, even though you have more control over it. I'll show you just now. This is the overall skin tone and complexion and the level of detail on it. And on males, it also gives you a certain degree of stubble on your face and other such stuff. So you'll see that, as an example, this guy's got barely any stubble. He's got like a perfectly smooth skin, but when you jump onto this dude, he's got some stubble there. And that can be the difference, by the way. That can make or break the beard that you put on your character. If there's no stubble and you got a beard on there, it might look unnatural. But this allows you to pick your skin, and I will say it also includes things like ages. You'll see we're going to get down further, and there'll be different ages. You can see even the pore size and the sort of marring and weather wear on the skin. There's a lot. Like, specifically the older ones, they come with a whole lot on them. Now, this is not the final part of this step. You actually get to pick what you want here, and it does change the character dramatically, drastically. You can make a whole character, customize the whole character in the rest of the customization, then come back here, just apply this to it, and it's old, you know? You can do that if you'd like. You can come back and forth and look what works and what doesn't. But this is not the end of it. So you pick the one you want here, then you can still come in here and change the skin tone, the overall skin tone. And this varies slightly based on the skin tone that you picked over here, the base skin. So your colors will be the same. It's the same colors, but they look different. As an example, if I jump in here and I take the black skin and then I come in and I do the color, it's it's obviously interacting with it different. You can make it warmer, you can make it cooler, you can make it whatever you want. So this is again one of those situations where you're going to jump in, you're going to fiddle, you're going to find that sweet spot. Now, the same goes for this, the wrinkles. You can barely see it moving on this, but if you come out here and you pick one of the older skins, then you will see it change quite a lot more. You can see the neck, around the eyes, the forehead, around the mouth. It's a lot. Then you got the skin sheen, which just makes your character shiny. For the most part, it seems like the sort of 10 to 20 range is the safest bet there. For now, we're just going to take this one and we're going to continue. The colors over here, man, you're going to have to fiddle around with it and figure out what works for you. Fantastic that this character creator is free, so you can do it without even buying the game. But yeah, you'll fiddle, you'll find, and you'll be happy eventually. Now, onto the sculpting. Brow. I would say of all the choices, this is the one that dictates and defines the mood of your character the most. A lot of choices that do a lot, but don't matter all that much long term. The brows, well, they do a lot and they definitely matter because they basically change the way your character expresses itself. You can look more serious, more sympathetic, more curious, more angry. You can look like a lot of things with just the brows. And it's a lot of movement overall. Then the eyes, it's kind of a dangerous one as well. I mean, they're all really dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. But the eye movement's quite a lot. They give you a lot of leeway on both sides. So you can basically, if you don't remain vigilant, you could lose yourself in here and lose your character in the process. You can go pretty big with eyes. I kind of like it doing that. Then the angle, and finally two of the most interesting ones that I've seen in a while. You can actually do squints, and you can close the eye completely, which I dig. So for both male and female, I'm gonna try make a character for the thumbnail that has a scar and like some bruising on the one eye, and I'm gonna have that eye closed. So it's gonna look kind of interesting, and it's a nice thing that they added that's different. The squint is also nice. You can make your character look more steamy, you know. You can add that, but that only works on some faces. I just want to say that. Other faces, it looks ridiculous on, but some faces you can actually pick a face where the half squint looks really good. It's called a squinch. It looks kind of nice. Nose, yeah, there's a lot of movement here, a lot of pull both ways. There's a decent amount of options for just the nose here. It's like there's more options here than I've seen in some other character creators as a whole. Nostril size. Nostril height. The width. Depth. The tip angle. And the sharpness. Pretty cool. Again, you want to watch out here if you don't know what you're doing or if you're not sure. The ears, I mean, they're good options. You got some presets here. You can just pick the ones you want if you'd like. And that can just be your go, you know. You can just pick and go. Or you can customize. You can make them bigger and smaller. You can make them pretty big, which is nice. You can change the angle that they sit at. Then you can change the openness, is how aware or ready they are. The tilt, up or down. Tips, you can make them elvish. I don't know what it's called in this world, but I guess I would call it elvish. And then you can make the lobes bigger. It's cool. It's cool. Cheeks. You will notice that we had some preset settings here for this character. I'm just going to fiddle with them and put them on whatever. Cheeks are probably the number one thing you'll use to make your character heavier or lighter. Not so much in the statistics. That doesn't seem to change there. But like just in its visual style. You can do the cheek bulge here. And it makes a big difference, basically. Then the neck fat, which is down at the bottom. The height. Width. And depth. That's not so much movement, but it's enough to make it visible, you know. Then we have mouth. The mouth options, yeah, they're okay. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. You can do the height, the width, which is partly the size. Protrusion. Also something you're going to want to be careful with. the corners. You can make a character smile a little bit, which is kind of nice. The thickness of the lips, and then the lip position for the lower lip. There you go. Our final option here, jaw and chin. These go very well with the cheek options. You can do quite a lot with them. As you do the definition here, it takes it sort of the focus from a lower down point to a higher up point. Brings out the back of the jaw a little bit. The width, that's if you want to go full Brad Pitt, you can do that. The jaw position, you can lift it higher, lower. Protrusion at the bottom here, this is partly neck stuff, basically. Then the chin height. The width. It's pretty okay, it's a good option. If you want a stronger chin and jaw. And then chin protrusion. And finally the sharpness. There we go. Let's reset those just in case. And then we're going to jump on to more exciting stuff. I love doing hair. I love doing hair. We're moving on to the body hair. First up's the hairstyle. Now the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to pick two colors. I will take one that's darker. Because this isn't like a pure deep black, I'll take black here. And then I'm going to take a slightly lighter one. Let's say this one. And I'll go through all the colors in just a moment, but I'll use these to go through the hairstyles, and you'll be able to see where the zones are that it can blend, right? So I'm going to leave it sort of in the middle here, and you'll be able to see basically, okay, yeah, that's where the colors are on any of them. I'll zoom out a little bit and you can look. I know it's not the most flattering collection of colors that I've assembled here, but it's fine for now. It's fine for now. There's some nice sort of longer styles here. Oh, whoops. With ponytails and stuff like that. And the hair, even though you don't see the physics so much here, it does have some decent physics. I like the shorter style a little bit. This is sort of straddling the line. It's almost not great, but it looks alright. Because the texture they put on there is crisp enough and clear enough for it to be okay. But it's almost just a texture, you know, a flat texture. There you go. Some nice longer styles, some nice shorter styles. I really like the messy styles in this because they've done the strands quite nicely. And again, as we go through, you'll see varying degrees of hair physics. That's Leon, right? And these ones, quite nice detail on top as well. It's not like fully realistic in any way, but it's like, it looks good. You know, it does look good. And I'm also super happy that you have all the styles on both male and female. Kind of sucks when you don't... Kind of sucks when you don't have them all. I much prefer this, by the way. So I much prefer this to the stubble that they had before, because you can see the individual strands there. You can see the detail there. It holds up better. It definitely holds up better. But obviously sometimes you want to be more shaved and you want that flatter down. Is this sort of like a half Jared Leto that I've made here? It might be. It might be. Like every now and then I put a different style on him and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is starting to be a little, you know. Alright. These styles, the curls, are incredibly well done in this character creator. I'm a big fan of the curls. Very cool. And I mean, obviously, as I mentioned, the longer styles are kind of nice. It's my dream to make one of these hairstyles work and look really cool. I mean, you could just say, and you wouldn't be wrong, that just having it on works. But it takes a little bit more than that, I think. Yeah, so this actually looks really nice. See, this is very well done. Like, compared to other games that try to do similar stuff, it's nice and clear, it's nice and defined, it's cool. Yeah, alright. Let's take this one, because why not? Then let's have a look. Okay, there is a reason why not. We want to look at the colors quickly. Let's take this one to look at the colors, because that's a perfect choice. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put the blend to 0. Wow, 0, there we go. And we're just going to look at the colors overall. We're going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to check the colors out. There are some very nice colors here. I will mention what I've said a few times is I feel their reds are not all that great. There are some nice reds here, okay? They're okay. But their sort of red straddling the line between red and ginger is not that great. They have some nice blondes. They have some nice whites. They have some of the in-betweens, but like the closest thing to a ginger that they have is this one, and I feel like it's a little lackluster. And I mean, that's fine, I suppose. It's not the most like important thing ever, but I really like that hair color on a lot of different styles. It just works, you know? It's amazing. Let me just turn the character a little bit so you can see it from the front as well. But you have a lot to choose from here, and I don't think you'll ever run into a like situation where you think to yourself, man, there's really not enough hair here. So yeah, for this I will take the black again, and I'll show you how this works. Then we'll take like a white color here. You can basically slide this up or down, have more or less of it covered, and it works the same as in most other games. The coverage on certain hairstyles is more, and on other hairstyles it's less. Then we have sheen and sheen position. I'll pick a certain hairstyle quickly to help explain how this works. But basically the sheen is just the shininess of the hair. And when you move the sheen position around, man, it's kind of difficult to... This is the shininess of the hair over here. But it's kind of difficult to sort of quantify it. But the idea I see is that like it moves the focus of the light a little bit from the whole to the individual. So like if you sweep it this way, then you can see everything's a lot smoother, and it can look better for certain styles. And if you move it this way, it's a lot more fine. You can see the hairs, the individual strands, stuff like that. And yeah, you can make the choice and see which one works best for you. I generally feel like somewhere in the middle is best for both of them. They seem to have it over here as the default. That looks fine. Yeah, that looks fine. Now we're going to go back and we're going to pick our mohawk again because I like it. And then we're going to keep going. Eyebrows. There are some nice eyebrows. It's like probably the second best eyebrows in a game that I've seen. It's close. I don't know. It's close. The eyebrows themselves are nice, but the way that they move, like the way that you can add and remove from them is kind of amazing. Where they actually like remove individual hairs. As you put it in, they like add in one hair at a time until it's like super bushy and thick. It's kind of nicely done. I think Nightingale has hands down the best eyebrows that I've seen. But yeah, this system is pretty good. And in terms of colors for the eyebrows, you have all the same colors as the hair. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I will just say that you can match them if you'd like to. Or you can just make them black, and that works too. But the thickness, yeah, it's a nice slider. It works nicely. Facial hair. Here we go. I kind of like the beards. Now, before I even jump in, I'm going to say, and you might not have watched the hair section, but the sheen position, the sheen, and the root tip blend, it all works the same as the hair itself. So basically, I'm going to go through the beards with just one color, and then I'll show you just how that system works, and you'll be able to sort of surmise what the rest looks like. The beards themselves look really nice. I do feel sometimes if you take the blackest black or the really hardcore or harsh colors, it ends up not looking quite as good because of the contrast. You know, if you end up taking a color that's slightly less intense, like this one, for instance, then you might have a better look. Like it will look cleaner, you know, neater, tidier. It'll make more sense. But the beards themselves are really nice. The shorter ones, they're about as good as you can get, I suppose. The mustaches are nice. I really like the mustache and stubble combinations that they have here. And overall, I want to say, yeah, the beard system is a win. It's pretty great. This one specifically is really nice. There you go. I mean, they definitely have all the variety here, right? And that's probably the most important thing, is like having just a little bit of everything for everyone who wants any certain type of beard. You'll find what you're looking for here. So yeah, you can go with anything. Let's take the big one for this customization, and then I'll show you how the blend works. Same as the hair. You can do some interesting stuff with it. I've sort of noticed that this specifically comes in handy a lot more when you're making the Beastren characters. It's kind of nice on regular characters if you can pull it off, but it ends up looking slightly more tacky. On the Beastren, you can have that that fur combined in with the fade in of the colors here, and it can look better. And yeah, you can basically, you pick your second color here and you can have a combo. I have seen it used quite effectively with like 2 dark colors, where you take like a brown and then you take a black and then you blend them together, because that can make it sort of look a little bit more natural in a way, you know, and that's good. That's cool. But overall, yeah, man, this is something you're gonna have to fiddle with and see. The sheen position and the sheen amount, it works sort of similarly to the way it works on the hair, but a bit less so. Like when you have it on this side, everything looks a bit smoother and shinier, and when you have it on that side, everything looks a bit crisper and clearer. Again, you fiddle, you figure out, you make it work. For this video, we'll take it off, and we'll keep going. Body hair, this is not available on the female characters. You get to pick the color, and then you get to pick the type, and then you get to pick the intensity. And that's it. There's not too much available. That's just on all the arms and legs, not on the chest. That's just on the chest, not on the arms and legs. And then that's on everything. And that's the way it works. For the colors, there are a lot of colors, up to 183 over here. And yeah, you can make your character look sufficiently ridiculous with it, or sufficiently realistic with it. I don't know. It's kind of up to you. It's a difficult one to fit in my opinion, but it's kind of cool still. Now we're moving on to the makeup, and this also includes the eye colors. So we'll zoom in for that. We'll have a look at scuffed Jared Leto's eyes. You can do each eye separately. Heterochromia is a thing, and the eye system is complex. So you have 4 different colors to choose from. You combine that with 3 different types of eyes in this case. It's 4 or 5 on the beast ren. But the eye style is basically a regular eye, a slightly more detailed or darker eye, basically, and then the sort of I don't know if you'd call it the blind eyes, but like this is a more solid eye. It's I don't know. I don't know what that is supposed to be, but you can get a lot of color in there still to make it look kind of weird. But then they got a bunch of presets here. I'm gonna skip the presets. I'll just go through them like this quickly, and you'll see it's a bunch of different colors. Basically, it's a bunch of different combos over here that they recommend. Serve-in suggestions for the eyes. I don't know, man. You could find something interesting there, I suppose, but I'll leave that to you to fiddle with. For the colors, the way I've found it best to show things off is to pick the same color on multiples. So I come here and I pick this, I come here and I pick this, and I come here and I pick this. That'll show you how much color you can get out of it, right? The sclera color, this is the background of your eye, and you can do dark with that, you can do light with that, you can do anything in between, you know, red. You can make demon eyes. It's not a problem. Like there's a lot of different colors here. Going over the colors individually, again, I don't think it makes much sense, and I'll show you why in just a second. It's kind of cool for this. You can see that there's a lot of bright colors, like this green. If you go a bit further down, there's a really bright blue. There's nice colors here. Very, very cool. You can find something nice. But if you're looking at the colors on the iris, then the problem is when you select a color, you're selecting just the one. It's right in the center there. Then you got to select the next one and the next one before it actually works and shows you that full color. So it'll take a little too long to change them all. So I'll show you that's what the red eyes look like. I specifically think the green ones are like nice and impactful, so I'll show you those. And then I'll show you the blue ones as well, because those are also sort of a common choice. It looks good. It looks nice. And if we go down for the blue one now, this is even more impactful. The eyes are great. I have recently looked at a few games where they go too realistic with the eyes, and then you end up losing the color when you zoom out. But this, yeah, this looks nice. And again, as I mentioned, you can quite easily go for like the demonic look. If you come up here, you make the back black, and then you choose these on whichever, you know, demonic variation you'd like to see. You can go for reds, you can go for like oranges or whites or anything, you know. If you like, as an example, you go up here on these and you pick the lighter color. I think that can look pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. So there's a lot to mess around with these, and it's all accentuated even more when you pick this one. So if you put a color on this one, it tends to be even brighter. than it was. Then you can pull the iris size up, and you can fill the whole eye with it if you want to make it a solid color, or the pupil size if you want to, on the other ones, see more or less of the pupil. There you go. And there you go. Overall, it's a good system, and it gives you a lot. A lot. You got a lot to fiddle with, because you can also add heterochromia there, and you can do whatever, you know? And then you combine that with closing and opening the eyes in the body section, and you're winning. Now, eyelashes. These are one of the more lackluster systems in the character creator. You have types to pick here. It's just the 3. So it's like a very standard sort of normal one. You can have a bit more, and you can have a bit less on the bottom and more on the top or something. I don't know exactly. I don't know. Or is that less and this is more? Let's see quickly. Yeah, I don't know. There's 3 different versions of it. I can barely see what's going on. You can pull this out more. You can have a look quickly. Let's see. Maybe this helps. Ah, okay. So this one's more weighted towards the top. This one's more balanced, and that one might be more weighted towards the bottom. Similar. You can change the color on this. Not as many colors as for the hairstyles and the eyebrows, but there are some colors here. You'll probably be able to find something decent. You got the browns, you got the blacks, and you got the pale colors, so it should be good. And then as you saw, you can change the length and the density. Yeah, pretty cool. Then you can also blend them, which I've shown you now a few times already the way it works. The blend in, it just allows you to take 2 colors, and then you can do the blend more or less. It's kind of crazy that they added this here with just like, you know, I want to say with such a minute change that you're making, but I'm not surprised by it. Eyeshadow, this is where the cool stuff starts coming in. You have a few different styles to pick from. For this video, we will take, for the customization here, we'll take the biggest one. I'll set the intensity up so you can see it, and I'll set the opacity up so you can see it. Then you have colors. This is the default set of colors for the makeup. They look good. There's a decent selection here. Not too bright, which I think a few people might not like so much. Like there's no really bright pink. The red isn't very bright. It's whatever, you know. Then you can also do the combo colors, you know. So you see the one is on this side, the other one's on the other side. So you can combine 2 colors here if you want to. And as you've already seen, you can do the intensity. That combined with the opacity will allow you to fiddle around a little bit. There you go. Then there's coverage, which just spreads it out. Metallic, which makes it look more metallic. And if you throw the sheen on with the metallic, then you get a really, really cool look. I'm a huge fan of this, and I always try to use this specifically for all my characters. Probably to my own detriment, but it's still fun, so I don't really care. That's it. The colors again, like when you throw the metallic and the sheen on, as an example, these ones, you get quite a cool effect. You can have like golds and silvers and stuff like that, and it can be really cool if you pull it off with the other options that are available here, like the eyeliner, for instance. Similar system, but a little bit more focused and a little bit more sort of precise and meticulous. This is more the line around the eye that you are highlighting. Let's take this one. You can set the color once again, like the other colors. Then you can put the coverage up. You can make it metallic, and you can make it shiny. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Kind of cool. Once again, the colors, same. I have seen some nice character combinations where they pick a dark color for the liner and a lighter color for the shadow. It works really nicely. I might try that still. I haven't managed to make anything really good looking like that, but I'm sure that there is some potential in there. So worth checking out. Then we have freckles. I love the freckles in this game. They're simple, but they are satisfying. You can have a little splotch on the nose, then you can have it all the way across the cheeks, then you can have it just on the cheeks, not on the nose, then you can have the whole face. That's it for the options, but it's more than enough. Then you can do the coverage, the opacity, and you can also change the color. I've noticed that the color, it's a little deceiving. It's more also like opacity, where you can have it darker and you can have it a little bit lighter, but the tone, it sort of doesn't hold. Like if you go for a color like the lighter one on a darker skin tone, you don't see them at all. They're not light colored freckles, it's just changing the opacity. But freckles are nice, so we'll put them on anyway, and we'll leave them on. Cheeks. I don't know how to use this. I'm going to be totally upfront and honest. I'm not good at using the cheek makeup, but it works in a similar fashion to the other makeup that we've looked at, but it has some more colors. So if we take something like the red over here, I don't know if that's red or pink, you can push the opacity up, you can do metallic on it, and you can also do sheen on it, and then it looks kind of shiny. And then you can look at the different styles. There's the one across the nose. I don't know if this is supposed to be like sort of war paint, because with this one it looks like war paint, but you can't move it around. I realize it's blush or something like that, but I just never know how to use the blush. So if anyone knows, if anyone can make a nice looking character with this, I'd love to hear what you did. I'd love to hear your secret. But yeah, there's some options. If you take this and this off, then the color stands out a lot more, but it looks a little tacky, I suppose. Yeah, it's okay. It's alright, and I think in combination with the other makeup, it could be quite good. Then the lips. I'm also sort of halfway on the lips for this game specifically, because they only have a few different styles for it. Let me show you what they are. They have normal lipstick, lightly applied. Then they have even lighter, which is just on the middle. Then they have slightly heavier, and then they have the heaviest one. This character specifically has slightly smaller lips, so you can't really see it so great, but you get the idea. That's basically all they have. If you want to go for like proper lipstick, you go for the full one. Color-wise, they've got a lot of decent colors here. You've got the reds, which is important. You've got the pinks and the whites, which is nice. You've got the blacks, also important. And then you got some in-between colors as well. It's funny that there's no blue here. I don't know why they left the blue out. They had the blue for all the other makeup, and they don't have it for this. But they made that choice. And yeah, I mean, you can put some decent-looking stuff on here. You can also make it metallic, like we did with the other stuff. And it looks fantastic. Yep. But again, they could work on this. This could be better. Final option here, teeth. This is fun. You get to customize the teeth entirely. You can have no teeth, or you can pick individually which teeth you'd like. And you can do it to great effect. It's really funny. You can do whatever you want. And it's actually kind of a useful tool. You know, because, I mean, what if you accidentally lost a tooth somewhere and you wanted to make yourself? This character creator actually lets you do that. You can customize to your heart's content. Every single tooth is on the table. Then you can change the colors as well, if you'd like to do so. That's it. That's the teeth. And that brings us to the final part. Tattoos and markings. This is one of the most interesting parts. It's sort of a... It's a big part, because I think that this is where the most customization and the most creativity comes into play. So what this has is firstly presets, right? So the presets, they're not great, but they are preset, ready to go sort of combinations of tattoos and markings that you can put on your character. It has body stuff, it has face stuff, it has everything, basically. And I mean, it's fine. It's nice. Once again, I like presets. I like when they give you serving suggestions, but it's not all that special. And I think that most players can probably do better by just doing it themselves. But it's never a bad thing having presets. Again, just giving options and giving suggestions is great. And I specifically love this one. I love that they made it metallic and they added a sheen to it so it looks like blood. Same for this. They made it look like war paint. It's cool. Yeah. And like a lot of these, they are nice and they can work. But when you look at it here and then you go back and you customize for yourself, you will probably be able to come up with something better. I guarantee you that. So yeah, you can come here, you can pick a preset if you'd like, or you can go in and customize, which is what we're going to do now. The tattoo system, it gives you 2 slots per body slot. So for each part of your body, you got the body tattoos and the face, they're together. Then you got right arm, right leg, left leg. I'm only going to do the one, and then I'll show you how it looks on the other ones, because it's all the same. So for the tattoos here, you can add the one. This is all the details for the one. Then you can add 2 by clicking that. Then you got the details down there for the second one. The tattoos have multicolors, and I'm going to show you how they look quickly. I'll take red on that one and white on that one. And again, we're just going to look at it on the chest now, but keep in mind the proportions and stuff might be a little off. You can change that. So you'll see some of them are like a little squished. And some of them maybe just like the snake, for instance, you can see that it needs to be a little longer, or the horizontal needs to be squished a bit. And some of them, as you can see, have different colors. The white is the primary color, blue secondary, the bronzy gold color is tertiary. So yeah, there's a lot of cool tattoos here, a lot of cool markings here. And once you see the options that are available, you'll know that there's a whole lot that you can do with all of this. And I really mean like a whole lot. Like this, they don't hold back with giving you options here. And I was actually relatively impressed by the idea of the scaling here, because generally I'm kind of hesitant when it comes to scaling tattoos, because in most games, the tattoos just look bad. It doesn't matter whether you make them big or small, they just look bad. In this game, you can make them relatively large and they hold up. They still look good. And it's just very impressive. Like, it's incredibly impressive. And what's just as impressive is you can go around and you can move these things wherever you like. And I'm going to show you how, in just a moment, you can sort of be creative with it. But let's start by just taking one of these. Doesn't matter which one. And first, I'll show you the colors. There's a lot of decent colors to pick from here. I think that it's more than enough. It's probably the best all-round selection without giving too much of anything. I'll leave it on black for now, though. Then you can change the position vertically. This goes all the way up onto your character's head and all the way down to the crotch. Then you can do the horizontal position, which loops it around your character's body. You can rotate the tattoos all the way, which is good. And then you can do the scale. And this is where things get really nuts. Firstly, when you bring the scale up, it looks amazing. The crispness is mostly retained for like the size of the tattoo, and you can make it incredibly tiny, like that it disappears, which is cool as well. Definitely a good thing. But when you go all the way to the biggest, it actually starts overlapping, and you can see like it's way too big. Like you've pushed it past its limit here. But you can use this creatively to change your character's skin tone. I've seen a lot of people do that. So if you want to be that character from the whistling guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, you choose a slightly lighter blue for your character. Which one would it be? I don't know which one it would be. Okay, maybe it is this one. You put the armor on and suddenly, there you go. You're him. I'd have to change the hair color and whatever as well. Yondu, his name is Yondu. But you can use it, and that's what people have been doing. You can use it here, then you do the arms, the legs, and you cover the whole body with a certain color. It's a creative way of doing funny stuff. But that's not all. You can still use it in different ways. As an example, say for instance this tattoo, you wouldn't think you can use it anywhere creatively or whatever, but like you can take it, you can move it vertically all the way to the top, up to the head, and then you can make like a little spiky headline over there. You could take a different one, and now we've looked at all the tattoos, so we know what's available. You can use it up on the eyes, as an example, as like war paint. You can also use it, let's say you take this one and you make it red, then you bring it down a little bit more to the mouth, you bring the overall scale down. You have to be a little finicky with this because it's kind of a difficult one to do, but then you bring it up to where the mouth is, and you can make your character into like a vampire or like a blood-sucking cannibal-y type thing, because then you can do the intensity, you can do the metallic, and you can do the sheen, and then it looks like blood. Well, I would actually bring the intensity down a bit, and I'd take the opacity down a bit, and then maybe it looks like blood. You can sort of fiddle with it. I know that's not great. I'm just trying to show you quickly as an example. You can fiddle with it, and you can find something creative to do. I've seen all sorts of stuff, right? I've seen people do crazy cool stuff, stupid stuff, fun stuff. You go ham with it, man. You do you. And I'm sure that you can figure something out that's kind of fun. There's a lot. There's a lot. Now, that's not the end of it. So let's take this circle, this unassuming circle. We put it here on this man's chest. Then, what you can actually do with this is you can also tile it. Because why the hell wouldn't you want to do polka dots? Tiling horizontal, tiling vertical, then you can pull the scale up, and you can legit just make your character polka dot themed. Or you can do this. You know, you can do this. Bring the vertical over the eyes there, and then there you go. I am Tar Man. I don't know. Have fun, guys. There's so much you can do with it. There's a lot that I have not even begun to sort of cover here. It's nuts. It's crazy. It's just fun, you know? It's just fun. So I think that we haven't even scratched the surface yet of what's available on this system. And I think people will eventually start getting into like making some pretty awesome designs. But again, at the bottom here, you've got opacity, intensity, metallic, and sheen. All of those things work differently on all the different tattoos and markings. Then you can throw another one on. So you can sort of throw that one on there, and then you can come down here, and you can throw another one, move it around a little bit, and boom, boom, you got 2 tattoos. As an example, right? Then, the way the other slots work is exactly the same. You come here, you pick the one you want, you do the same customization on the arm, and you win in. Right? Then you got all those slots for it. Then next up we have scars. Scar presets. These are also kind of average. You can have scars on all the same slots as the tattoos, and the scars can be modified in exactly the same way as the tattoos, where you have the intensity, the opacity, you can tile them, you can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, you can make them more varied in number. You can do a lot of cool stuff with them, a lot of stupid stuff with them, and you can just have some fun with them. There's even these stitch-in bits and pieces that you can use. We'll have a look at that in just a moment. But they give you a lot to work with, and you can do ridiculous nonsense. So if I zoom in over here, I'll show you what they look like quickly. We'll just go through the regular ones. Keep in mind the system works the same as the tattoos, where you can have 2 of them each body slot, and you can move them around. So if I'm looking at this right now, I can move this one all the way up to the face and put it there if I want to. Right? So keep that in mind as we go through here. You have a few decent looking scars, big, small, short, tall. Then you have a few stitched pieces like these, a bigger stitch and a smaller stitch. And then you have a few chicken scratches and some burn marks. You can move them around any way you like. You can put them anywhere you like, and it can work relatively well. Then you can also change the overall scale of the tattoos, which is once again kind of massive. You can make them huge, and you can make them teeny weeny. And the amount of stuff you can do with it is basically endless. On this, the intensity makes them a little more intense, darker. It looks a little more gross, I guess. The opacity is the opacity, and the sheen makes them shiny, look sort of bloody and stuff like that. But the tiling and stuff works the same as on the tattoos. You can tile them, and you can make them bigger and smaller. While they're tiled, you can rotate them. It's a comprehensive system. Like, it is just everything you'd want, right? Everything you'd want. I think that covers it. I think that's sort of all there is for the tattoos and the scars. But again, I don't think it is either. I mentioned this a few times, like in my main video. Like, this system itself is just going to be... It's going to be a mystery for a while. I feel there's a lot of stuff you can do with it that we don't know about yet, that could sort of be interesting or exciting or whatever, and people will they'll figure it out over time. And I'm kind of excited to see what they end up doing. But there you go. That's the scars. You can, as I mentioned, put them on all the different body parts as well. And then we have the dirt, which is another very interesting point. I mentioned how with the tattoos, you can change the skin color of your character. This gives you a similar option where you can change the skin color and texture as well, where you can sort of make your character into like a zombie or an undead or a vampire or something using the different dirt. So you've got just dirt that looks like dirt, but then you can change the color of the dirt to make it look different, interesting, to change your skin to make it look a little, more texture filled and in certain aspects and certain situations more interesting. There's like even this very light one here that doesn't really look like dirt. It just looks like it's making your skin pale, right? It's very interesting. You can go for the full coverage one, and then once again, this actually gives you lots of unique options where you can have like a diseased looking skin, where you can have like, as an example, this. Like, I don't know what that is. It's not frostbitten. It's not really diseased. I don't know. It looks like you fell in a paint can or something, but you can do some fun stuff with that, I'm sure. And when you change the opacity and the coverage, then you can see it actually goes dynamically through it, where it has layers that it adds. And it's sick. It's just so much. you know? So this whole thing, this whole system has a ton of stuff that you can use, that you can leverage, that you can either make work or make not work. And I really like it. I truly and firmly believe that there's a lot that you can do with this to make your character look a certain way and to make your character stand out. So yeah, do it. I like it. It's one of my favorite sections of this whole character creation system. So now we have actually reached the end. When we finalize, when we jump in and finish things up, we get to either go all the way back to the base head or the body, or go back into detailed customization. Then we pick our vocation. I've got a whole video for vocations up that you can check out if you'd like to. You pick the one you like here. These are not permanent choices. You change them afterwards, and there's much more in the game itself. Then you pick your voice. We're going to quickly listen to the voices. There are male and female voices to pick from here. Give them a listen and see what you think of them. There are some decent voices. It's not that special. It's a little lazy. They just have like, 4 different voices that they change the pitch of. It's fine. The voices are fine. I don't think you're going to care too much about that anyway. You're not going to hear your character talk. You have a silent protagonist in this game. And yeah, the voices, it's whatever. It's a choice you can make. After you've done that, you can finalize. And, well, you have to pick something. What did I not pick? Oh yeah, the vocation. So you pick your vocation, you finalize, you can put your name in, and then you can also choose a moniker. I'm not exactly sure how the moniker is used, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's a bunch of pre-generated names that you can get, and you basically pick one of these. And I suppose this is because I know that back in the day what they used this for was the game couldn't always say all the names. And they couldn't have, like, the voice actors or whatever just randomly say words that you put in there, because you could put explicit stuff in there or whatever. You could put stuff in that they don't know, and they don't have like a system that can just read it out for you. So you'd come and you'd pick a moniker like this, and then the characters could, if you wanted to refer to you with this, I don't know. It could also just be for like a safe mode that you can put on where it doesn't show your name to people. I don't know what the moniker is. People out there probably know what the moniker is, and a lot of normal names are in here. So if you're a Joel or a Jane or a Joy or a Judy, you'll find your name here. It's something you can do. But yeah, again, I will admit truthfully that I'm not sure what the moniker is. They even have M Bison up there at the top. I'm not sure what it is, but there are a lot of options here. Some left out. You might not find. If you have a slightly more exotic name, you might not find it here. But there's a lot. There's a lot. So I don't know if you can actually leave this blank and not pick something here. I'll check now. But it is an option. And there's a lot to choose from if you'd like to. I mean, like my daughter's name is here, for instance, which is kind of nice. There are a lot of names here. Obviously less for X, Y, and Z. But let's see if you can leave it blank. Yeah, it looks like you can leave it blank. And that actually brings us to the end. Oh no, it picked Sophia for me. Oh no. That actually brings us to the end of the video. I'm Sophia now. I'm sorry, that's me. So yeah, dudes. Dragon's Dogma customization, it's just fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's probably one of the best out there at the moment. It might even be the best. It offers a huge amount of customization, a lot of options, a lot of variety in the options, great presets. The preset picker, I could talk about that for ages. And it also allows for customizability, flexibility in ways that people have not even discovered yet, I can imagine. You can make characters that look like celebrities, like video game characters, like all sorts of things. You can make them beautiful, you can make them hideous, you can do everything, and it's just a thumbs up, man. It's just so good. So I have nothing negative to say, really. There are some minor points where I would have said, like, you know, they can improve here or there, but it's not even worth mention, in my opinion. And yeah, man, it just seems like a gold standard situation all around. So I thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys that made it this far. If you'd like to, you can find my links below. As always, the Twitch stream and the coffee page. You can also give this video a like and share it and do all that other good stuff. Yeah, you can do that. Most importantly, happy making those characters in Dragon's Dogma. Happy that.